Hi YouTube, my name's Aussie Tex, the average gamer behind the screen, trying to give you some tips that you've never seen. I play a variety of games across a lot of different genres, and my goal is to try to make your favorite games a little bit more enjoyable. Today we're going to be jumping into some Mirage Smokes and executes that have really helped me as a returning CSGO player after almost a 10-year break get back into CS2 this last month, and I hope some of these smokes can help you in your games. Alright, so the first few I'm going to throw are down mid to get mid control. You're going to wedge yourself just into this bin here, and there's three different smokes we can throw from here. One is the top mid. The second one is going to be window, which is to line up with this bar on the right hand side of the door and the top of the door frame here, and you want to do a D jump throw. And then the last one is going to be a connector smoke, which you can either line up with the top of the first step or the bottom of this corner, which is where I like to do it. And from there, what you're going to have is your top mid smoke, your window smoke, and your connector all smoked off from the one spot. Now, this D jump throw can be a little bit tricky for some people. What you want to do is, as soon as you start feeling your characters move, do the jump throw. If that is stuffing up a few too many times for you, what you can do is a bit more of a safe option. And if you're just doing the window smoke, this is the safest option, is to wedge yourself just over here, aim for the second little notch here and do a jump throw. Then it's going to do exactly the same thing, where it's going to bounce off this and land up into the window. And that's a little bit of an easier one until you get used to doing this one in your offline modes. Now, once we get out to top mid, one thing we can do is, if you need to get a window smoke again, you can wedge yourself just into the corner here, do a crouch and left click throw at the top of this box. And what that's going to do is land in the window and smoke that back off. Other things that you can do from in on this side is you can do a left click throw there, which will do a short smoke, but that plumes a little bit out onto short where they can actually lurk. The other one you can do is a crouch jump throw from the tip of that, and that is going to land on the roof here, pop down and cover off this wall and the window. Another couple of smokes you can do from the top mid here, instead of getting wedged into the right, you get wedged into the left hand side here, and on the bottom left of this leaf you can do a jump throw, and that smoke is going to land and bounce up onto the box there and cover off CT for an A execute. You can also from here aim at the bottom side of this little shiny part of the leaf and do a left click throw, and that is going to bounce down and land just here, which is going to plume out and actually cover off connector. So that is a nice one to trap anyone in, and if they push through to try to cover you off on short, they're going to be in a probably 1v3, 1v4 trapped in connector there versus your team on short. So it's a nice connector smoke to learn. Another couple that you can do from here, the exact same spot, is you can aim for the left hand side here and do a left click throw. That is going to bounce down and do a deep jungle smoke. So you got jungle, connector and CT from that side, as well as your, if I remember my keybinds, aiming at the tip of this aerial here will do your short smoke, which will allow you to execute into connector and go A. And that's a nice deep one, where it also covers off this little lurky position on the corner and also covers off ladder room as well. Now, when we're looking at B executes, there's a couple of different things we can do here. The first ones are your short smokes, so you can wedge in against this one, aim at this little blank patch just here of the paint, do a jump throw. On the left hand side here, you can wedge yourself in and aim just at the top of the guttering here and do a jump throw, and both of those are going to land down on short. And if any player has pushed up to try to cover short, hear your team in apps call it and they're looking to get back here, all of a sudden they don't have any vision of the windows and they're completely isolated down there on short, allowing your team to get through. Another couple of smokes you can throw to pair with that, if you've thrown two there, is you can come up here, and one of the most important smokes that I don't see a lot of people throwing is you can line your number one up down the bottom there with the edge of this paint and the window and do a jump throw. And what that is going to do is it's going to go flying up, bounce off the top of that roof and land down here, covering up anyone that's seeing it van or in pit here. And essentially they're not going to get any vision, even if they're playing up close to the wall here, they're not going to get any vision of anyone in apps, allowing for an easy T execute onto short or onto the side. So the other couple of smokes you can throw from in this corner as well is window smoke, which I like to throw just at the tip of this little cutout there. If you find that a player seems to be playing on the back of this instead of in window or around that area, what you can do instead is do a throw onto the right hand side of these 3 steps. And what that is going to do is it's going to bounce off the wall here and land down onto the edge, which essentially covers off this corner and allows stops them from playing on this angle into the windows. So that's 2 smokes there that can cover off window. And the third one is going to be on the tip of the arches here, and that is going to fly all the way over and smoke off door. So they're the normal execute B smokes. Another one you can do is a short smoke, which if you just aim at the tip of this building and do a left click throw, that is going to fly over the back here, bounce off the wall, end up just in the middle of here and plume across this entire thing, essentially doing what those 2 short smokes earlier did in one. However, you need to be careful with this smoke, because if you aim too far out to the left, it's going to end up into the corner, as you can see down the bottom left there. Or if you go too far to the right, it'll actually hit the edge of this building and bounce onto a roof. So you really got to make sure you spend your time just lining it up with the edge of that building. A couple of other ones that I don't see too many people doing is if you go into this drain pipe just here and do a left click throw at the tip of this leaf, that is going to be your connector smoke. If you do a left click jump throw, that is going to be your jungle smoke. And if you come out and aim up a little bit just to the middle of that leaf and the first aerial here, that is going to bounce off this roof here and bounce down onto your stairs and essentially be your A execute from the drain pipe over there in apps. So finally we're on to A. All right, so this is probably the most important side for smokes. And if you wedge yourself into the right hand side here, line up with this little dot, you can aim at the middle of this wood and do a jump through. That is going to be your CT smoke that'll bounce and land up on top of there, covering off CT and ticket. Then if you get your teammates to drop you a couple of other smokes just on the right hand side of this arch, you can aim for the tip of this building. That is your stairs smoke, and then aim at the tip of this aerial cable. That is going to be your jungle smoke. So all together, you've got CT smoked off, stairs and jungle all in pretty much the one spot. Now another set that I've seen, I think it was CS Tactics do, was up on here. I'll put his link down in the description. A very good man for smokes and all of the in-depth ones that we're not going into today. So on the left-hand side of this small brick here, we can do a jump throw to do your jungle. And then there is a small little spot just here, just at the bottom of that, doing a left and right click jump throw is going to land here and bounce up onto the stairs. So that is going to be your same 2 there. The only reason that he likes to do more from here as well is that you can also pair that up with a Molotov on the edge of this black dot, just with a left click throw, and it's going to land in there and cut out anyone in sandwich. A couple you can do from up in Palace here is there's a important smoke you can do by wedging yourself into against this first pole. There is an imaginary X on the wall here, just in a lighter kind of paint, and a crack in the wall just here. And if you just do a left click throw off that, that is going to bounce out onto the edge here and essentially allow you to take a CT smoke, CT fight when the smoke allows, stairs and jungle without compromising yourself too much from just speaking from this one angle here. The other thing you can do is come to this second pillar, and if you've got a Molotov, line yourself up into the corner here. This is an angled part of the wall, and what you want to do is just come up this line here, and just as it kicks out to the end there, just pull out your Molotov there, and as the tip of your cursor hits the top of this light is when you want to just let go. And that is going to bounce all the way down and burn anyone that's down in dark. You can do the same thing that once you get a main control here, you can just aim anywhere on the left hand side of this and burn anyone under dark. And then if you've noticed, there's been a couple of people playing over at Firebox or Ninja, or even just behind this default, without exposing yourself too much. Once you've got this control, you can just poke out here, aim at this window at the top and just do a left click throw, and that is going to land on the top of Firebox, get anyone in Ninja, at the back of default here, and also in Firebox. So I hope these smokes help you in your games. We're going to be doing one of these guides for each of the Prem maps currently in the pool. So stick around, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.